Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Transport Fever 2. I am Arctic Wolf, and this is episode 19. In our last episode, we set up airplanes to deliver us iron and coal to a steel mill, and then deliver us steel to the goods factory. In today's episode, we're going to continue working on that goods line by getting the crude oil over to the plastic refinery through this oil refinery here. We're going to hook that all up, and then we're going to figure out how to get the plastic over to the goods. And now once we've got all that taken care of, well, we send the goods where they need to go, namely Overland Park, Grand Rapids. Is there any more? Plano. We still have a few things that need to be connected, like we need to connect machines to McKinney and Billings. Like, we only have the one machine factory. It's making enough for everybody. They're just not getting out there. So I'm going to work on getting these goods done. Sit back, relax, and enjoy while I get to work on this build. Alright, let's speed this up so that I can tell you how we're doing it. First thing we got to do is put in a cargo station at the crude oil spots. There's already one here. We put it in when we did our logs. So I just have to do some adjustment, do a little bit of reworking the line a little bit so that this works the way I want it to. What I end up doing here is adding one line that just goes right through the middle of the station for the logs to go through. And then I have to do a little bit of a fancy bridge braid work thing here to get this. I discovered something here. If you hold the shift button while you're moving your track around, it won't snap. So you can go right next to and then elevate without it snapping to it if you hold the shift button. And then that's what I did there, and then I was able to run the bridge over and then back down to the ground and meet up with the other crude oil line going over. And then I just ran this out, and I realized that this is not going to be far enough away to be the big platform, so I had to tear all this out again. I ended up deleting most of the road that goes out into town. I moved that back. I extended as far as they'll let me. Get rid of all that road. And then, yeah, just bring this right in. It had to be a tunnel. There was no other way around it. Now here I put a double slip on there for the depot purposes, but that ended up not being needed. And then here, I don't know what I was thinking when I put this section of track in, because I completely forgot to take it over to the oil refinery before I'm down here at plastic. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is the wrong spot. So I had to back it all up, delete it all. And something I noticed about when you delete and track like this, in the older days, when this game was brand new, a mistake like that, you just paid to put all that track in, and now you have to pay again to delete it, and you don't get none of your money back. I noticed when I was deleting this, it kept saying refund. Yeah, okay, that's helpful. I did not know that was a thing. But right here, I was having a heck of a time trying to delete this track out of here without deleting all the trees in my forest. And I'm thinking to myself, if I want to delete the trees, I'll go to the terrain tools and be in there, and then I can delete trees. Don't make me just delete trees when I'm trying to delete track. Just my opinion. Just a thought. It was bugging me, so I had to bring it up. So here what I did was I busted out all this straight track that ran right by this oil refinery. I had talked about doing this in a previous episode where I just put a station in here and let all the trains run through the middle of the station. If they're not stopping, they don't need to stop. They don't need to have a platform or anything. Just give them a straight track to run through. And then put your platforms where you need them out on the outside for the ones to come pick it up. So that's what we did. There's already 4 lines going through here, and we added 3 more. So this became one of the biggest stations we have, even though it doesn't have a lot of stops. And I ran into some lag issues when I was putting this thing together. It was taking a good few seconds. You can even see it here in the time lapse. It's taken a good few seconds for it to register that I clicked it and put it down before I can click again. But that aside, we got it taken care of. I had to move this curve over just a little bit, and it didn't want to do it that way, but it wanted to do it this way, so we did it that way, and then it worked. So then it's just the first 2 lanes are electrified for the passenger network, and the rest of it is not. So that's how that's working. So we connected that one to track platform 3, that one to platform 4, and then from platform 5 we didn't need platform 6, so I went in and tore that one back out. From platform 5 we go and we tie into the main line again, and then we follow it down, and then we peel off down by the plastic factory. And the same situation down here, train station terminus. So it just stops there. There's no reason for any more trains to come down this way. And then here I from the depot bring it around out to the new line we just put down and tie it in. And double slipping it there and then double slipping it in here ends up causing some problems with the actual lines themselves. For whatever reason, some cargo trains were wanting to go over into the passenger network to drive by Kansas City, so then they could pop back out to their normal line again, and it was frustrating me, so I ended up putting in some waypoints. Then I added an airport and balanced some plane lines, put some trains out, made sure the trains were balanced. Anywhere at the end of the line where the stuff was getting dropped off into Grand Rapids, got a truck line to deliver it to the right spot. So that's what's going on. I'm going to shut up unless you let you guys listen to some music. So here you go. I hope you enjoyed the musical break. Um, what we're doing here is we're balancing all the lines that are going through that crude oil pickup station right there. The lumber line ended up being not enough train, so I had to add some cars to that. The two crude oil trains, one of them is working at full efficiency and the other one is slow right now. Um, the refined oil down here to the plastic is going slow because of that. And so the plastic itself is slow because of all that. And we're not going to be able to completely use our airports until we can get more runways. Once we can add runways to this, we can have the airport over by the goods factory needs two runways, one for the plastic and one for the steel. They cannot share the same runway and be fully balanced, fully optimized. There's just not, you'll get them backing up. The two airports at the sending ends will be empty, and the airport that's receiving will be completely full and have no more room for anybody to land until somebody leaves. And they'll be circling around above it, waiting for a landing spot and wasting all your money on maintenance and fuel. I don't want to have to do that, so we only put two airplanes on the plastic line, and I followed him to make sure that he could sneak in there and go drop off in between the steel planes landing and taking off. And then we ended up getting 2 or 3 planes on the plastic line, just enough to get the goods going. But it's not enough to make everybody happy. So we need to upgrade to better planes, and we need to be able to configure the airports to have another runway. But I'll talk about that later. Right now I'm just following this guy to make sure he's not interfering with the flow. And then when I switched to the second plastic plane, he did circle around one time, but then he was able to land. So then I went and checked to see the first plane again. He's doing fine. He's going to come pick up. And then I'm like, okay, so we got plastic coming over here and it's not getting in the way. So now it's time to tie in the goods over here to Grand Rapids. So we're going to add another dock to the cargo truck platform. We're going to add another dock to the train platform. And we're going to get this all set up. And it took me a minute to figure out what color to make the goods. I decided to go with the pink, just because I haven't used it yet. Getting rid of any extra roads that aren't needed. I considered going with a suspension bridge there, but it's not for people traffic, so it's not necessary. Just a regular old steel reinforced bridge works fine. Lets you do the 75 speed limit. And then after checking where the depots were at, I decided that for aesthetic purposes, put one in at Grand Rapids, just because there's not one there, and it's the easiest way to get a train onto this line. It's only used for one line, but whatever. We can afford it. Add some trucks to the delivery line. Then I realized that the delivery line is going to the wrong side of town, because I sent it to the fuel drop-off point, not the goods drop-off point. So I had to rework that. I'm just checking the traffic on the airplanes, making sure they're not getting in each other's way. And I go through and tell them all what they're picking up, where to drop it off, and to wait forever for a full load before they leave. That's pretty much standard throughout the whole system, all of it, the whole network, except for the passengers. It's not going to sit around and wait for a full load of passengers. That's just dumb. But for the cargo stuff, yeah, you want your guys to wait for a full load, because running half full costs more than sitting there empty at the station waiting to fill up. Yeah, everything's looking good. The trucks are balanced. Well, okay. Here we are. We've got goods being loaded into the train to take them down to Grand Rapids. So we have goods connected to the network officially. It's going slow right now. This line still needs to warm up a bit. We need to advance until we can put in multiple runways on the airports before we can balance these plane lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the date speed back up to 1. And so next episode we'll have our usual barrage of unlocks. But that's going to have to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I had a lot of fun making this one. We got quite a bit done today. We added a few train lines, a couple truck lines, another airline. It's like connecting these resources is taking up more and more of our... No, I don't know where I was going with that. Connecting these resources is becoming easier and easier, actually, as we get down to the last bits of them. Like now connecting this iron to the network is going to be simple. This iron ore right here, because we could just truck it over to the airport and then put it on a plane and send it. Easy. Same thing with this crude and this iron right here. Ah, that's the other iron. Okay. So there's 2 iron left and 2 coal left. We've got 1 crude left. We still have to do construction materials. I believe that construction materials is the only one we haven't done yet. So yeah, we're coming down towards the end of having to tie things in. From there, it's just make sure everybody's got everything they need, and then balance the lines and upgrade the equipment, and balance the lines and upgrade the equipment, and then when you get to the end where you got the fast trains and everything, you can make a new passenger network with the high-speed tracks and stuff. Yeah. So that's where we're headed. This is where we're at. We're doing pretty good. I have been spending like a mad lad lately. Like, look at that. Look at that. Look at all them expenses. But once I stop spending money, we'll be making a bunch. So, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you like this playlist and my channel, hit the subscribe button. If you want to know exactly when my next video comes out, hit that bell icon. And you people have a wonderful day. And with that, Arctic Wolf out.